Hello and welcome to Hyperdog Digital. This is Scott. Today we're going to give a first look and our first impression of the Sentio Superbook. If you're not familiar with this, the Superbook is a crowd-funded device that is basically a laptop shell that allows you to hook your phone up to the laptop, and it uses your phone as the OS. Now it does have a battery and a screen and a keyboard just like a regular laptop, but all the processing power and everything is ran off of your phone. Pretty good idea, and it actually got produced and successfully crowdfunded, and we have it right here. So let's take a look at what we got in the package. Now I got it was just $99 for this device, which is pretty darn good for a laptop, even one that will run off your phone. So these are the items that came with mine, and you got this little carrying pouch here, which is not too bad. Just a standard little sleeve. It's actually a pretty sturdy, pretty rugged feeling fabric. I'm not sure what you really call this, if it's canvas or whatnot, but it's actually got some good cushion to it, and a little bit better than some of the other free sleeves that you might get with some devices. So I'm pretty impressed with that. So we'll put that aside for now. You got your standard charger. Nothing too spectacular about this guy. Just a regular old charger, and this charges the battery in the Superbook itself. And then you got this cable here, which is the cable that allows you to hook up your phone to the Superbook. Now, mine in particular, I have the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, so of course I have the USB Type-C connection on the phone end. You could also get this where you had the connection for an iPhone or the micro USB instead, or whatever else that you might have had that they had available. So there's a couple of different variations on that. And of course there are a couple of different variations that you could buy this with as far as color and whatnot. So let's take a look at the Superbook itself. So this is it right here, and it's a nice little device, nice little bit of hardware. It's a little heavier than I thought it would be, but it's not too bad. The build quality is okay. I'm gonna say it's not the best that I've seen, for sure. There's a lot of creaking with it, but it's overall it's not too bad. You only really have a few ports on here. You have a regular USB port, you have your charging port here, and then you have the USB Type-C port, which is where you'd connect your phone. There are no other ports on here. There's no cameras or anything like that. It's meant just to turn your phone into a little bit more of a productivity type tool, so that you can type on it, and it gives a different OS, the Sentio OS, that makes it a little bit more productivity friendly, so that you can have multiple windows and a little bit kind of Windows-ish, I guess. But let's open it up here, and as you can see, well, you might be able to see, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see on there or not, but it does have a backlit keyboard, which is very nice. It's got a regular old trackpad right here, and then there's your screen. It's 11-inch screen, might be 11.6, I'm not sure off the top of my head. A couple of things as far as the screen goes. This may bother some people. There is quite a bit of, and you probably can't see it too much on the video, but there is quite a bit of light leak around the edges of the screen here. It really doesn't bother me too much. If you got a black screen like you do here, you can really see it pretty good. But other than that, when it's turned on and you got images on here, you really can't see it. So it's not that big of a deal for me, but a lot of people do have problems with that. The keys themselves are very functional. I don't have any problems with them. None of them seem loose. They all seem to work very well. They're a little bit, seems a little bit smaller than a full-size keyboard. And of course you do have some smaller sized keys in comparison to a full-size keyboard, like the arrow keys and the function keys are a little bit smaller than normal. But other than that, it's very easy to type on. The trackpad is okay. it has a tendency to go back and forth between being very sensitive, so that as I'm going through here, it tends to tap and do a single click, to when I'm moving it around. Sometimes it's a little jumpy and maybe not quite as sensitive as I'd like. Other than that, that's the device itself. There's not a whole lot else to it as far as that goes. Like I said, there's only those few ports on the one side. The best part about it, or the most interesting part about it anyways, is going to be hooking it up to your phone and seeing what it looks like. So let's go ahead and hook that up and take a look and see. Okay, so here it is. Here's the Superbook open and ready to go. So we take the cable that came with it, and take your cell phone. In this case, it is a Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus, and they do have a list of the available phones that work with it on their website there. So once you plug it in, it immediately loads up the OS. And I should clarify that when I say it immediately does because there's a couple of pieces of software you have to install. You have to install a piece of software called Display Link, and that is what mirrors your screen of your phone to this machine here. And then you have to install the Sentio OS app itself. Once that's installed, you just go through a quick little setup, and it will come up and it will bring you to this screen. Now, because I am running Oreo or Android 8.0 on my cell phone, on my Galaxy phone here, I had to do a few different steps out of the norm for some of the other phones and the other versions out there. I actually had to connect my phone up to my laptop, download ADB for Chrome, and run a couple of commands that allowed me to get a couple of different settings that show up if you go into the settings for the Sentio OS here. Specifically, they were for the DPI settings and for allowing the most recent apps to show up down here on the app bar down here. So basically, this is it right here. This is what happens when you plug it in. You run Sentio OS, and it basically is supposed to take your Android OS and make it a little more productivity based, so that you can use it for work or whatever else, word processing or something a little bit easier, on the eyes or whatever. You got your 11.6-inch HD screen. The backlit keyboard, the keys are very nice. They seem to work very well. You got all the function keys on here, which allows you to do anything from increase your brightness to turn up and down the sound to control music. And then of course there's a couple of buttons that work as the back, the home, and the recent apps keys as well. So I mean, there's not really, I'm not going to go into the software too much right now. One of the things that's going on is because this is fairly new, there are a lot of bugs with the software right now. The good thing is that the developers are working very well with several of the people, several of the backers for this project, and they are very responsive, and they are working through a lot of the bugs and getting things worked out. So I hope that as this goes on, this will continue to evolve and just get better, because I do like the idea of this. The idea being that as you get a new cell phone, you're basically getting a new laptop as well. As your cell phone gets faster, then your laptop does as well. So hopefully, this continues and this goes on and it evolves and it just gets better and better and better. But just to kind of go through some of the quick, what you see is basically, you have some icons up here at the top. Some of these are just kind of some of the standard icons that come with the OS, like some tutorials, allows you to log out of the OS, and just some other instructions. There's also a separate file manager that you can use as well. Now you can download any Android apps as well for this software or this OS. So anything that you can download off the Google Play Store, you can download on here. Now the other thing that they really wanted to tout about this is that you do have multiple windows, so everything comes up in a window display, so you can open multiple windows. I'm trying to move this here a little bit. There you go. Different applications. So now I know recent versions of Android also have multiple windows as well, but in this sort of format, where you actually have, sorry Spidey, you actually have an 11.6-inch screen. It makes it a little bit easier and a little bit a little bit better using that feature there itself. So you also have, much like in Windows, you have your notification icons down here, and you have everything from Wi-Fi signals, your battery, Bluetooth, your sound, and there's the settings, and of course you can even bring up notifications here as well that you would find on your phone, and you can hide this menu item or this whole bar if you want, and bring it back. And then of course you have your settings here, which kind of has some of the same items here. What your hotspot, your sound and whatnot. And then there's just some very generic settings here for the actual OS itself. So let me get this thing up and get you some closer shots of this, because I know it's probably not too great to see from that distance. But so those are some of just the icons. These are the most recent apps that show up, and this is your notification icons down here, and then just the regular apps up here. And you can drag and drop items from the actual app list here, which can come up when you hit the Sentio S down here on the bottom. So you can take these and drag them out to the desktop, and you can even take these and drag them down. I should be able to. Perhaps I'm not doing this correctly, or I don't have something enabled. So right there is just a good example of some of the bugs, or me possibly not exactly knowing what the heck I'm supposed to be doing. So I'll take a closer look at that. Again, I think it's got a lot of potential, and I really do hope that it continues to evolve and continues to get better, because I really like it. I think it's pretty neat, and I just hope it just keeps continuing to go. Okay, so that is my first impressions of the Sentio Superbook. So keep that in mind, that this is just my straight out of the box playing with it just for a couple hours impressions of this device. I really like where they're going with it. I like the idea behind it, and I hope that it continues to evolve, and they fix some of the bugs that are showing up with the software. It is in the very early stages, so I do anticipate that happening. Now, I do have a few gripes with it, as you may have seen, most of which is with the build quality of the device itself. Keeping that in mind, this is a $100 device, so when it was going through crowdfunding, I did get it for $100. If you go and buy it now, it's going to be about $139, $149, depending on at what point you get it. That's still very cheap. And I'm sort of unfairly comparing this to devices that are $500, $700, where the build quality is obviously going to be put into that price tag. So really, when you think about it, for $100, I shouldn't be disappointed at all with the build quality. It is not bad for the price that you're getting, and everything seems to work very well, and it looks very good. I just need to kind of get past some of those little cosmetic issues that I was looking at. So hopefully this video has been helpful to you. If it was, please go ahead and give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I hope to see you again soon here at Hyperdog Digital. As time goes on here, we will give a more proper review after I've had a little bit more time to spend with this, and hopefully there's been some fixes to the software, and we can just, like I said, give it a more proper review. So I hope to see you at that point, and thanks again for joining us at Hyperdog Digital.